Welcome back, everyone. Glad to have you all back in good company because it's always a blessing to be in good company. Man, I'm excited for today. I'm chopping it up with my guy, Chris Tazewell. He's the founder of Corporate Athlete, a brand built around one idea, the same mindset that makes you dangerous on the field, on the court, can make you unstoppable in business. So, as you see, he does have a football background. He's a Kappa man, been cutting hair for a decade, who took what most people would call a step backward in his career and turned it into the move that changed everything, where he's now excelling in tech. He's helping people to break into tech as well. And he's closed over 12 million plus in tech sales. Chris, my brother, welcome to In Good Company.
Appreciate it, bro. Glad to be here, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're glad to have you here. It's an honor to have you here. If you want to introduce
Nah,
yourself
bro.
as well.
You got me sounding way cooler than what I would have done.
Nah, it's all good, man. Hey, at Good Company, we like to give people their flowers, people that I know that are doing amazing things out here, inspiring, leading others. I'm so just glad to have you here, man. So yeah, we'll dive right on in to
Appreciate you.
our questions for today. And hear your take and your insight just on your life and your journey, man. So my first one that I have for you is, what's something you believe that most people in your industry would disagree with?
If you work hard and just do your job, you're gonna get promoted. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. I think a lot of people think that, like working hard is a good thing, but you could also be working in the wrong direction. You could be in the wrong pond, in the wrong field. Like I work in software sales, obviously. Sales is different. Like there's so many different styles. There's car sales, there's medical device sales, there's tech sales, there's like where I started in a call center, that's sales as well. Like
Mm.
what you get paid and your compensation is different based on what you're selling, type of product, how complex your sales cycle is. So I think the biggest thing is not just working hard, but like really focusing on the direction and finding where you have opportunities of leverage to be able to get the compensation you need, the style of work you want to have. I think that's one of the biggest things that I think people overlook.
Love that. Love that. When did you learn that hard work wasn't just going to cut it?
Probably when I made the transition to tech sales.
Mm.
Because now I'm an individual contributor. I'm making 3 times what I made as a manager.
Woo.
I had a team of 20 people that were reporting to me, and I'm making a third of what I'm making now. And just understand I'm still doing the same sales process, a longer sales cycle, much more expensive product, a lot of complexity to it. But with the complexity, I think a lot of people look at like, oh, I want to make 6 figures. And like it requires a certain level of responsibility, accountability, challenge that I think people also overlook and realizing like you get paid that amount of money for a reason. Like, and you're typically driving way more revenue than you're actually getting.
Nah, I love that. You see a different side when you get into the tech sales side. And I know,
For sure.
you've been excelling in that
Hmm.
space. So you recently made that transition over into tech sales, as you mentioned. Throughout your career, though, what's been a decision that you made that everyone thought was wrong, or maybe a few people thought was wrong, but you're glad that you stuck with it?
Yeah. I probably say the biggest one was actually me getting into tech sales. What for me to get in, I had got laid off. I actually turned down quite a few job opportunities during COVID and took a program that didn't pay me for 3 months and just kind of sat down and did that to be able to make that transition into tech. And so it gave me opportunity to actually join my company that I work at now as an intern. And so like kind of talking through like taking a step back, taking a little bit of a non-traditional route is, I had been a people manager at the time for almost 5 years and then deciding to be an intern seems crazy, but 2 months as an intern, I ended up doubling my salary during COVID. And
Man.
so it presented a lot more opportunities. Again, like being able to get into tech, there's so many opportunities if you put yourself in the ecosystem and really dive in. Um, so I probably say that was the biggest thing. Like everybody thought I was crazy. Like I had never even made more than K at the time, and I'm turning down job offers for 100K because I
Wow.
knew I didn't want to do sales at the time and I wanted to make this transition, this pivot into customer success and getting into the tech space. And so it was a great opportunity for me. And I think a lot of people thought I was crazy, kind of heading into that.
Wow, man, that's big. I think that resonates probably with a lot of people out here right now. I know you had those layoffs during COVID. recently as well with the advancements of just the changing order of the economy.
Yeah,
People will say AI, I think the verdict is out on if a lot of jobs are getting impacted by AI or not. But, what was your mindset when you were faced with that adversity of being let go and then figuring out how to pivot? Was it a moment where you had to pause, or was it, hey, I just got to keep going and find that next thing? I know you mentioned, you took that leap of getting the internship.
yeah.
What was your mindset during that time?
I don't know, it might have been a little bit of ignorance. I think sometimes like some people think so hard that they create a mountain out of a molehill. And it's just like, I didn't really think too much about it. One of the biggest things and kind of how I navigate my career is like being financially free, like making sure that I have my living expenses saved up. So at the time I had like 7, 8 months of my living expenses. So it wasn't really a hit for me to actually take this time off. It gave me a lot more freedom and flexibility to be able to do what I want to do versus doing what I have to do to be able to make a check. And think just the mindset, just understanding like I'm not gonna lose. Like I went into the internship, honestly, like again, like not fully understanding like the full gravity of the situation. I'm thinking everybody gets an internship. It turns out it's like 60 people in this class, only 20 people get it.
Whew.
I find that out like 3 weeks into a 4 week program. But granted, like my mentality again, like the corporate athlete is 20 people aren't better than me.
Hmm.
If they are, I need to work harder.
Hmm.
At least like in that situation, like I'm not saying that I'm gonna be the 20th person. Like I'm always shooting to be, number one, number two. And so really making sure that I drove and like showed out, was visible within the classes, connecting with my professors and whatnot. That it takes what it takes. And like I wasn't taking no for an answer. Like that was really that was really the mentality kind of leaning
Yeah.
into it. Like I was
Yeah.
just gonna figure it out.
Nah, that's big. Yeah, as you mentioned, that's a prime example of the corporate athlete
For
having that
sure.
athletic background, very, very competitive. So taking that into the business way, I love the new name too, corporate athlete. That's really dope.
Appreciate it.
Taking that into business and into entrepreneurship, if you're able to apply yourself and your skill set, it's more so just a mindset though. And so, man, I love that, man. So,
Yeah.
piggybacking off of that, what's, one thing that you wish someone would have told you 5 years ago, or maybe yourself, you would have told yourself 5 years ago? What's your thoughts there? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I may know the answer, but
Yeah. I think honestly it's a shift that I made 5 years ago because it was literally 5 years ago, almost to this day, like I started the new company. But I received a book from my executive sponsor at the time. It was Think Again by Adam Grant and introduced this idea of confident humility. And so I would say like the biggest thing for me is embracing confident humility. And for those that are not familiar with the term, confident humility is like being confident that you're going to figure it out. No matter what it is, like you're going to find a way to get it done, solve the problem, even if it's completely new to you. But being humble in the sense of the path of how you get there might change.
mhm,
And so that's how I approach it. Like, it doesn't matter what gets thrown in front of me. Like, I've consistently overachieved and solved problems and figured it out and got over humps. But being humble in the sense that, at one point it was being a sales manager, then it was customer success, and then now it's being an account executive and then working on, being like you and getting a podcast, getting some content together, doing a little bit of everything, but just being understanding and being flexible as the world's continue to change around us, like the ability, the value that we provide to the world, and just adapting to that.
yeah. Adaptability, one of the greatest skills that you can learn. And
Sure,
being able to handle anything that's thrown your way. You definitely have that characteristic, and hopefully people will take that with them as they're navigating their own careers too, because different things are going to get thrown at you that you don't know. So I really
absolutely,
do,
especially in this AI world.
in fact, talk about it, man. I'm telling you, it's something new every single day with AI, but I think we're in a time that is new to us, at least. I know people talk about the dot
Yeah,
com bubble, but I don't think we've seen technology, the advancing pace of it, happen in this order. People can say that they're keeping up with it. We'll figure out how everything looks once the smoke clears. So
yeah.
definitely. This next question may apply to you, but what do you think most people misunderstand about what you do, whether it's in your career or what you stand for? Any thoughts on that?
I'll say it's two different things. I think people look at sales like you just get up and call people and you're pitching nonstop and you're doing all this talking. That's the complete opposite if you're doing good sales. It's really focused on nurturing culture and nurturing relationships and cultivating them. And then the last is asking really good questions. Like if
Mhm.
I'm talking 20% of the call and my prospect, my customer is talking 70, 80%, that means that I've created an environment where they feel safe and open to bring in their problems and what they're having going on in their organization for me to be able to solve. Like, you don't sell products if there's not pain or if there's not a problem to solve. And so that's, I think, one of the biggest misconceptions of when it comes to sales. And then I think the other is it's all like flash, like glitz and glamour. You do some fun stuff. You get to travel, you get to do different things, you
Yeah.
wine and dine your customers, but it's a lot of hard work. Like I'm up at 11 o'clock trying to chase a contract because it's the end of the quarter and we need to get it closed by midnight. Taking calls on vacation, doing different things. I think a lot of people think that it's easy. And I think comparatively it can be, to versus, I've done manual labor. Like that's just not something I necessarily want to do at this current point in my life. Like
Yeah.
life is gonna be hard. Like the things you're gonna do is gonna be hard. Like you just make a choice between what type of difficulty you want to deal with.
Definitely. I think for you, you've been able to be resilient. So if people have questions about what it actually takes, the reality of what it takes in sales,
For sure.
Chris is definitely the guy, to reach out to. He's going to give it to you raw and uncut because you have to know what it really does take. Yes, the money is good, but you got to have actually have value that you're putting to actually get to making that money. So it's work that has to be done. So definitely. Um, you know, I'm not sure if you think about this often, but who's someone that has shaped how you think about work or life?
So many people. One that really jumps out to me, and I think that define how I look at my career is Tim Ferriss. He wrote the 4 Hour Work Week.
Hmm.
I read that book, and maybe to my detriment or to my benefit, right when I graduated college, but it redefined how I looked at money and time. Like most people just look at a salary and not thinking about, do I work 70 hours, 80 hours? Like, how much time do I actually have to give to be able to make this salary? And I think taking it more from a perspective of like the time conversion of whatever you're making is more important. Like you can make, $50,000 working 20 hours a week or 10 hours a week, and you got plenty of time to be able to fill the time with other avenues that you can generate more revenue. You can have time to chill with family, friends, whatever it is. But there's a lot of ways to be able to augment what your compensation looks like. It doesn't have to all come from one place. And really focusing on the time spent and what you're doing allows you to have that flexibility and freedom to be able to really kind of define what your career and your lifestyle looks like.
Yeah, I love that book. Yeah, Tim is amazing. A wonderful person to actually follow in terms of understanding frameworks of how to approach life.
For sure.
Definitely on point with that. In that vein, we starting off with the new year. It's 2026. You started with corporate athlete. I know that's going to
Yeah.
grow and continue to be its own platform. What's a problem that you're trying to solve right now that no one's talking about? That's something that's top of mind for you.
I think the thing that I've noticed a lot with do a lot of mentoring and just talking with different people that are trying to shift their careers and whatnot, most people are playing out of an old playbook.
Mm.
Like the old system of you get a job, you keep your head down, you just do your work, and like you're gonna get rewarded. You're not gonna face the risk of layoffs. Like you're just gonna sail off into the sunset in 30, 40 years and retire. A lot of people just kind of drift in their career. And I think that's what I'm really trying to solve with the corporate athlete is being able to share more of my experience, more of my mentality and thought process of how I approach my career. I consider myself an entrepreneur. Like I work for a company, but I'm
Mhm.
within this company figuring out ways to continue to drive innovation. Like I'm not just doing my job, I'm asking questions. I'm finding ways that I'm going to learn, finding ways that I'm going to be able to take these skill sets to be able to provide and apply them to, other things that I'm going to do in life. So I think that's the biggest problem I'm looking to solve is like AI is disrupting everything right now.
Mhm.
There's a lot of fear around it of, it's going to replace my job, and it can for some people, but it also can give a lot of opportunity for people because this is new territory. This is a new frontier where there aren't even that many college courses where people have been taught AI. So like there's opportunity for you to come in and study and really train and be an expert pretty early on because it's still relatively new.
Mhm,
So it
mhm.
all depends on how you look at it, but I think that's the problem of like making people more proactive and strategic of how they're defining and navigating their careers.
I love that. Think the I think a big part maybe to why you have that perspective, how I have that perspective as well, is because we kind of sit in the middle. We're the
Mhm.
millennials,
For
so we
sure.
know, our parents and those that are older than us.
Mhm.
They're used to the retire 401k, the pensions. And then we got the
Yeah. Yeah.
people younger than us now. Some of them are like even rethinking, hey, do I even need to go to college? I could just learn this information. And so systems of thinking are completely changing. The way that we do
Mhm.
things are completely changing. But we're like in the middle of it because we've kind of seen it.
Yeah.
Or at least we're attached to both sides of it that have a different reality of
Mhm.
the world that we're in. So I don't know if you resonate with that or not.
Bro, so I have older parents. So like my dad is 79, I'm 31. And so being able to see like a different generation of some of the challenges and how they approach life, it's different. Like my mom was the first one that was in tech and she went through layoffs and shifted different careers. Just understanding like she was very vocal with me of like understanding like no company is going to take care of you the same way that you're going to take care of yourself.
Mhm.
So you need to be proactive and creating your nest egg, investing in stocks, real estate, whatever it is to be able to generate revenue to make your money work for yourself,
Yes.
to give you the freedom and flexibility to be able to navigate this career and this journey without so much fear and being at the mercy of organizations. Jobs are a leverage point. It's the same thing as anything else. Like they pay you a salary to do a certain amount of work, and I don't ask or expect anything more from them. I don't expect them to tell me and know what my career trajectory should be. I
Mhm.
play the worst case scenario that I might have a terrible manager that doesn't want to support me or pour into me, and it's on me to be able to come figure out how I grow in my career. I find the opportunities to develop.
I love
Yeah,
that. I love that. I think look at your job. I always say look at your job as your first business partner. You know what I mean?
absolutely,
They're
absolutely.
your first business investor. So
That's your
nah,
first angel investor.
Nah, for sure. In that light, what's something that you probably stopped doing that's made you better at what you do currently today? Maybe something you've shed it off, a habit, or something that you've just completely you don't do anymore that's made you better at what you do in current day.
Stop saying yes to things that don't add value or move the needle.
Ooh.
You mentioned before like barber, like I cut hair since I was 17, and I still love barbering. I still love the art of cutting hair. From what I'm trying to do right now, like I don't even charge enough. I charge $20 for a haircut.
Mhm.
I make more than that focusing on my job. So if I focus that same time cutting hair on learning AI, learning a new way to develop a skill, like I'm gonna see a greater return on my time and investment.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're getting a lot done. Like that's that quote from Denzel. So really focused on making sure that I'm making a valuable impact,
Mhm.
and saying yes to things that are going to move the needle or things that I just want to do. Because everything doesn't have to be, the greatest ROI or something that's going to pay you. Sometimes I do like community work, mentoring and whatnot. That's just for me. Maybe it's selfish as well because I learn a lot when I'm mentoring as well. But
Mhm.
I'm not expecting anything out of it. But really saying, being more intentional with my time and my effort.
Mhm. Nah, definitely. That's big facts. Yeah, Denzel, he said, don't confuse movement with progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. But I think also even those things that may not have the tangible results, like even like you mentioned the mentoring and things
Hmm.
of that nature, they still play and they serve the greater purpose of what you're trying to do too. So I
It's
think that's big.
honestly, I would say the biggest growth and opportunities that you have is the small details, the things that you think aren't going to actually return something. I think some of my greatest growth at my organization is because I took on the role of being one of our ERG leaders. It gave me access to our C suite executives. It got me opportunity. I launched a program where two of our C suite executives gave me $120,000 support on this program
Wow.
with me and my co chair. And we were able to launch it. That got absorbed by our HR department. And it was
Wow.
around leadership development, trying to figure out how do we make Black, brown minorities be able to have opportunities to continue to grow and develop in their careers, get promotions.
Hmm.
That got me so many opportunities, spaces, being in rooms that I never would have even thought of. Obviously, you got to do a good job at your actual job, but some of those adjacent projects, side projects really give you opportunity to really kind of make some real strides. And I think it allowed me to really develop my executive presence, pitching, my delivery skills, my negotiation, and being able to build a program from scratch and have that come to fruition. All of that I didn't get paid for any of that.
Nah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, and I know I didn't get to highlight that in my illustrious intro of you, but yeah, Chris is built out, like he mentioned, he's an entrepreneur. He's built out things within the spaces that he's in, and he's been able to add immense value, even with the company that he's at, and that's led on to even more opportunities for him. So, he's doing some amazing things, bro. This last question, and I'll get you out of here, is if you could ask the world one question and get an honest answer, what would it be?
When's the last time you rethought the path you're on, and does it still apply?
Mm,
I think going back to the confident humility and think again concept, it's not many times where we reflect on what we decided we were going to do, 5, 10 years ago. Does that still apply? Is that even still relevant? Like AI has completely shifted. Is some of the things that I was working towards even a relevant opportunity or option for me to go down? Most people are just so gun ho on, I said I was going to do this. I told people I was going to do this. So I got to complete this. I used to be a big proponent on I don't quit anything. And I
mhm.
don't quit. It's just you find things that are better uses of your time or more relevant or have a better impact. And so I think that's a question that I try to pose to a lot of people now because AI has the world moving so fast. You have to rethink every month, every quarter. There's so many things that are changing around us. If you're thinking on a year outlook, a 3 year, 5 year outlook, like 9 out of 10, probably 70% of your plan is going to get outdated in a heartbeat.
Facts.
So, really posing that question for people to rethink what they're doing, what they're prioritizing and working towards, and figure out if that's still the path that they want to be on or should be on.
I definitely resonate with that. Just like a tree, trees have leaves, and those leaves eventually fall off once they've met their capacity. So sometimes you need to cut some things off or pivot or change
Hmm.
direction. Like you mentioned, it's not necessarily about quitting, but sometimes you need to be realistic with reality of what's happening and make that
Yeah.
change. So, man, I really do resonate with that for sure, bro. Definitely. Before we wrap up, you got a lot of different things going on. You mentioned some of the goals that you have. Where can people find you? What are some things that you may have on? You got other speaking engagements coming up? Where can people support you at?
Yeah. You can follow me at corporate athlete underscore on Instagram. Then my personal is JUST underscore Taz with two Z's underscore. A lot of things I'm working on right now is, getting some more speaking opportunities at some of these tech conferences, on podcasts, just like you. So I appreciate the opportunity. I'll also be launching my own podcast. So I have a guest lineup that I'm working on getting built out and planning on launching here in the next month or two. So folks can definitely start following us at corporate athlete underscore on Instagram and start seeing some of the things that we're going to be posting and sharing some of the game. And then they can also tell us, things that they want to see, things they want to hear, whether it's around career, whether it's around life. I really focus on corporate athlete isn't just like work. It's not just your job because we're so many things outside of our titles and what we do. It's really thinking through the holistic life. Like what type of lifestyle do you want to build for yourself? And finding a way to integrate that with work and what you do.
Love that, bro. Love that, man. Chris Tazewell, corporate athlete, doing
Appreciate you,
hard
bro.
things before he feels ready. And he's clearly good company. I appreciate you, man. And for those, thank you for tuning in and continue to be in good company. We'll see you all on the next one. Peace.